documentaries bring the world together. And we definitely, have to support that.
Helen talked about education and its power. I know at the Artemis Rousing Foundation, this is one of the core elements of your values. Could you share a little bit more for the audience, some of the work you're doing with the films, with Geraldine? Can we share a little bit more background as to why those core elements are important for you in your work?
Definitely. We actually got into the filmmaking business through education. We have a charter school back in the States, and we discovered that 80% of all learning is visual. And a lot of these students, they're not being engaged, or they're just being taught to take the tests. And so we started inserting more films with curricula into the system, and we were seeing that children and young adults were learning at an exponential rate. And so we then started backing more storytellers and building and developing curricula to go with them. You can just see a huge difference. And so we went into it full force, and I hope that we take this around the world, quite frankly.
Amazing. I'm just going to jump to you, Tessa. I'd love to know, how do you think, what's the role and power of actors and producers to kind of elevate, in some ways, actors to elevate stories in the documentary field? Is there an executive power there when you come in and reach audiences? Do you think actors can play a big role within documentary?
Goodness, I hope. I mean, I would sort of rally the question back to you and to others on the panel, because I would love to know how we can be of service. As I have a production company that I started a number of years ago, and we produce a lot of things across our slate, and we have been trying to produce a documentary film now for a couple years. And
you might want to pitch it to Regina.
Geraldine.
This is not the soft pitch, I promise. But something that I noticed...
We're listening.
Okay. Something I noticed, it's hard to produce anything. Everything is hard to get made. But there seem to be particular challenges with documentaries, and I would say that in the last year there seems to be even more challenges depending on what the documentary is about. And so I think I'm still in a period of just an investigatory way, trying to understand how to produce these stories, how to protect the filmmakers that have a story to tell. And then I certainly know recently I've had the opportunity to come later, like when there's an awards push, or try to figure out a film that should have an awards push. How do we get enough money to really get it there? And the truth is, I think so often when you make work, you don't do it for accolades, but we all know that when a film has a run like that, people see the film in a way that they wouldn't. And that's hugely important. And so I think that's something I feel committed to. You can pitch me, I can pitch you.
Absolutely.
And now we've got another award they can run for, right? Yeah. But Geraldine, I'm going to pick up on what Tessa said about the types of films and the age we're in. I mean, you have worked on a number of films. Tell us how an award like this can elevate some of the stories that filmmakers risk their lives to make.
Well, sadly, in this world of streaming, I've been told by executives that independent films and documentaries have their streaming business has outgrown, their business model has outgrown our stories because the audiences are too small, and we just have to prove them wrong. We have to build bigger audiences, so we have to be in the audience discovery business, and luckily there's technology that can help us with that. If all of our documentaries that are coming out of Cannes and Sundance and every Laureled festival, if 80% of them are being seen by less than 2 million people, we all have to take some responsibility for that. That's number one. And that's what the data says, whether you like the data or not. And then we all have to, just lean into these stories and remember what they're protecting. So I feel like there's great storytellers, and right now there's more than enough material to make incredibly thrilling films about what's at stake. And then we need to support those artists, and we need to get them distributed. even if they're not being bought by traditional media or streamers. We got to figure our way. We got to do an end run around the algorithm. So that's what we all have to be in that business together. So, and I think it's possible. I think we've got some interesting models that are emerging. We've started a new platform called Jolt for films to go straight to consumers. We're learning. We're in an incubation stage. I'd like to learn from other people that maybe have some models here in Europe that we need to learn from. But we can't just rely on the 5 buyers to be what's available in the marketplace. It's just not right, not fair.
Agree. Rémi, c'est quoi le futur, le César d'impact, quoi? Are we gonna? What's
we have
the
a César, documentary César.
Yes, but perhaps the next level is an impact award in the César.
First of all, I think we have to remind that documentary is cinema. Here, more than everywhere, we have to say documentary is cinema. The birth of cinema was documentary. And
Alice Guy Blanchet, right here.
Alice Guy.
That's right. Yes, Alice Guy.
And une
course.
femme.
A woman.
And une femme.
Yeah,
French.
a woman. Yeah, absolutely. Quite big American, but
Became American.
she became American.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the first thing. And of course, we have to put spotlight more and more powerful on our films. And here, of course, is the best place in the world to put this spotlight on our films.
I mean, I think you talk about something that's really important, and it's actually come across all of our conversations, you know, documentary and theatres. Documentary and theatres. I mean, Helen, how do you think an award like this might change some of the minds of maybe hopefully distributors in this room and sales agents to put docs in theatres?
Absolutely. I think, I mean, you know, I'm already so happy, to be honest, that you see so many documentaries on the streamers. Because how many of us are watching films on streaming platforms? And there we scroll through and we see so many great documentaries. And those are always the first movies that I actually watch. Yes. So I'm just incredibly, you know, grateful. But there's more work that needs to be done. And I think people have to understand that documentaries really spark so many cultural, you know, political, socio-economic conversations around the world, and that's what's so exciting. Documentaries bring the world together, and we definitely, you know, have to support that.